Thank you so much for joining our online event, Munich Startup Pitch with Global Startup Center.
Thanks to you for inviting us.
Thank you. Today, I'm Akiko from the Fukuoka City Global Startup Center, today's MC. And here we have Lulu, the Director of Global Startup Center, Yoshi, and Shun are with us here. And before we start a meeting, before we start the event, I would like to ask you one thing. Please keep your microphone mute and turn off your videos. And we also post a questionnaire about this event in chat box. So please check there. And before you leave, please send us some of your feedback. Okay. Let me briefly introduce today's rundown. So we start with the introduction of Global Startup Center. And next, Munich Startup will explain their Munich Startup ecosystem. Then the startup pitch section will follow. Today, we have 4 startups from Munich. The first one is Pre-Interactive. Second one, Illusioneer and Brand Project. Then the last one is Consult Technologies. Okay, so let me start with the introduction of Global Startup Center. So we are the Global Startup Center, Fukuoka City Global Startup Center. We are run by the Fukuoka City, and we are the contact window and executive unit for the foreign entrepreneur and foreign startups when they expand their business into the Japanese market. Our motto is a part of your team. So we work with you and sometimes we do tasks on behalf of you. As you can see, our services are wide range. So actually our service is free of charge because our center is sponsored by the city government. And before you come into Japan, our service can be applying for the startup visa and business matching. And after you come to Japan, we can help you to finding office, housing, and incorporation. As you can see, and we support more. We have those support available after you come into Japan. So let me explain a bit about the advantages of Fukuoka. So the first one is the safety. We can say it's geographically safety. If you compare with Tokyo or Osaka, Fukuoka is located in Kyushu, so we have less earthquake. So we can say we have low risk for the national disaster. That's why there are many Tokyo-based company has a data center in Fukuoka. And also we can be because of the geographical advantage, Fukuoka can be the gateway to Asian market. And second point is quality of life. Fukuoka is compact and our living cost here is more affordable than big cities. And our city is surrounded by nature, like rich nature, mountain and beaches. So we can say we have high quality of life in Fukuoka City. The third point is the startup. So since we've been trying to be the startup city for 10 years, more than 10 years, so we already have the startup ecosystem and also tight-knit good startup community. So once you get into the community, you can easily get the network there. And the last point is the POC, pilot of proof of concept. So our city is very proactive for the proof of concept POC, and they have the supporting project for the POC. And also, I would like to emphasize here is our public sector and private sector are working very closely. This is our global network. We have 11 institutions in 15 countries. So we have MOU that to support the startups and giving mutual support. Let me explain about our unique business matching. Our business matching is very unique. It's not something just you introduce each other, but we have very good connection, not only in Fukuoka company, but our connection is all over the world and of course in Japan. So we have good connection with the anywhere in Japan, even Tokyo, Osaka. And also we have good connection with the public organization, not only the private sectors. Let me explain some of the cases. The first case is from Germany. So this startup is developing the unique materials, and we connected with one of the big conglomerate companies we call Shosha. Then they interested in their product. Then they purchased the sample, and they agreed to purchase the sample. Then now it's the process of ordering. So we are supporting their not only introducing each other, but we are also supporting their communications. The second case is about Siren from Estonia. The Siren developing the soundproof phone booth, and we introduced this company to one of the largest office manufacturing companies in Tokyo. And actually, they have the similar product in their line, similar product. However, they have more demand for the phone booth, so they're interested in Siren's product. So we helped the communication and initiated to sign an NDA, and also the company bought a sample from Siren. Now they're discussing for the further collaboration. The third case is from Singapore MDAC. Actually, this is fintech, and they are building the application to facilitate cross-border business through proprietary data technology and support from world foreign exchange providers. We introduced the lawyer with financial expertise to get a license in Japan. And also we connected Israel fintech startups. As you can see, our business matching is not only for the Japanese, with the Japanese company, but also other countries as well. So we also have the startup visa. This is a 6 months residential permit to set up the company here in Fukuoka. So it's very friendly for the entrepreneurs. So we welcome the Smarty from China. They are developing the AI voice recognition chips. So they got the startup visas with the 2 founders. And the another case is Tamago Blockchain Labs from Thai. They are developing the NFT platforms. As you can see, we are welcoming the many types of startups, and we are now getting more startups in the Web3 fields. So here is our motto: like, start easy, start fast. So with Global Startup Center, you can start business easily in the Japanese market. Okay, so this is our brief introduction. So I would like to welcome Max for the introduction of Munich Startup.
Yes, thank you. And I hope everyone can see and hear me. Good afternoon to Japan and good morning to my friends here in Munich. I will just try to share my screen. Let's see if my technology is able to do so. So now you should see my presentation, right?
Yes. Yes.
Very good.
I can see it.
Very good. So, as said, my name is Maximilian Feigl, or Max for short. I am editor at Munich Startup, and I will give you a short introduction to Munich Startup and the startup ecosystem before we hear the pitches. So, What is Munich Startup doing and who are we? What do we do? So Munich Startup is the official startup portal of the city of Munich and the surrounding region. We see ourselves as the initial point of contact for startups in and around Munich. Our goal is to support the ecosystem as well as to give transparent information on anything startup related that is going on here in the city. We do this with a very broad approach, and the most important one is, I would say, our news coverage. I'm not only saying this because I'm the editor doing this, but also this is the most important thing because this is where all the information comes together. So we do interviews with young startups so they can explain who they are, where they come from, what they do. We do interviews with the VCs here in Munich, for example, so that they can explain what they are looking for, who to approach. We report on funding rounds and all those things that are happening here in Munich. Our website also gives information for starters. So information like who do I need to talk to if I want to set up shop in Munich? Who do I need to talk to if I need some legal advice? Where can I find first financing? Where can I get some workplaces, stuff like this? There's just the information gathered on our website. And of course, we have the good old calendar for events where everything, may it be live on stage or just an online event like this one right now, everything that's happening in Munich regarding the startup ecosystem can be found there. We also inform our startups on things like awards or badges. So if there are some chances they can apply for, they can all find this on our website. A tool I'm very proud of are our insights. We work here together with a company from the Netherlands called Dealroom. They basically gather all public available data on the startups and put them in a platform so you can discover this information. The screenshot here shows the VC investment in startups in Munich up till now. As you might be able to see, 2021 was very successful with a combined investments of almost 10 billion euros. 2022 was not that good due to geopolitical reasons. Let's see what 2023 is all about. And in this tool, you can discover the whole ecosystem as well as just certain branches, or even break it down to single startups you might be interested. So you can see in a very, very good fashion what their investment round looked like, how big they are and how old they are and stuff like this. Then another tool on our website is a job board where startups can just add their open positions for free. As I might add here, all our services are free for startups, so they don't need to pay us anything. Since we are founded by the city of Munich, we have a quite good financial situation. Then there are, of course, activities abroad we do. For example, right now, some colleagues of mine are in Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest event there. They're not only people from Munich Startup, but we also took some startups from Munich with us so that they can experience the event. We helped them get their passes and everything. We did something similar last year at the Slush event in Helsinki, where we had our own booth, which we shared with some startups from Munich so that they could have for very cheap money a big presence on the event. That's, by the way, also where we met Fukuoka for the first time. We also visit some other startup ecosystems and report on what's going on there so that everyone can have a picture of how good or bad Munich is located, situated. For example, in February, I've been to Israel and visited Beersheba and Tel Aviv. And then, of course, we do our own events. Like last year during December, we had something we called Winter Tour. That was basically when we visited some of the entrepreneurship centers and co-working spaces here in Munich. We went there, brought mulled wine and gingerbread with us and just did some networking. We also have a regular networking roundtable for the entrepreneurship centers here, or some very exciting things. Last year, there was a huge athletics competition called European Championship here in Munich. And there were so many people visiting Munich as they haven't since 1972 when the Olympic Games were. And the organizers asked us if we can put some technology show together, so the visitors not only can see something about sports, but also something about what's going on in the tech sector in Munich. So we just gathered some of our startups and we got a huge tent where we could put them in, and they were showcasing their technology for, I think it was 5 days in a row. And it was quite funny and also quite successful for the startups just to reach out to the general population and just give a better view of what startups actually are doing. So this is all the things we try to do to help our startups to be more present, to be more visible, and also to get chances like today, of course. Then what is the Munich ecosystem all about? So we have started calling ourselves, and newspapers have started calling Munich the Silicon Valley of Germany, or the Isar Valley, since Isar is the river running through Munich. Basically, this is due to a lot of huge American tech companies. They are building a large presence in Munich. Apple, for example, they in 2021, they announced that they will invest 1 billion euros in Germany. Now, a few days ago, they announced that they will invest another 1 billion euros in Munich. They are buying property here as well as Google and IBM, Microsoft. So all the big giant tech players are here in Munich. And what brings them here is not only obviously the beauty of the city and the near to the German mountains, the Alps, but also there are a lot of very young and very well-trained people due to the good universities here in Munich. And this just attracts the companies and gives Munich this flair of the Silicon Valley. And the startup ecosystem itself, this is just a small snippet. I don't want to bore you too long with my ramblings here. And all in all, we have around 1,800 startups here in the Munich area that are in different stages and in different industries, of course. The most important industries, as you can see, are enterprise software, health, fintech, and transportation. Some of them are, I would say, more obvious than others. For example, transportation, with BMW being headquartered here in Munich, it shouldn't be that big of a surprise that we have a lot of startups circling around topics like transportation, mobility, electric mobility, and stuff like this. And yeah, we have at the moment 6 or 7 unicorns. The 7th one is a tricky one because they just shut down a huge portion of their operations. So I'm not sure if they are a unicorn anymore. And just a few words so that you know what those unicorns are all about. Flixbus is a transportation company. They are basically organizing for over 10 years now overland bus connections where you can just hop on a bus and drive to another city. Right now they're active not only in Germany, but in Europe and the US as well. A Scalable Capital is a fintech. They have built a robo-advisor that helps people invest. Celonis, it's actually the most valuable German unicorn at all. They are enterprise software startup. They do a lot in the field of data mining, support companies to find and use new values in their organization. Lilium is a company that are trying to build flying cars, actually. We are all very excited if this works out or not, but for now they're at least a unicorn. Personio are doing HR software, so they help companies to streamline their HR stuff. And Agile Robots, in the end, is a traditional, I would say, robotic startup. They build robots. As I already said, Celonis is the most valuable German unicorn, followed by N26 from Berlin, which is a fintech, and then already Personio from Munich. So while Berlin might be the larger ecosystem, and Munich is the, I would say, more focused. So this is also the end of my 10 minutes, which I'm very thankful for. Here are some contact details. feel free if you have any questions regarding the Munich ecosystem. If you want to talk to a certain player there, may it be startup or VC or entrepreneurship center, it's most likely that we at Munich Startup have contact details and we can make an introduction for you. So feel free to contact us and ask. You can also use our insights tool for yourself to browse the Munich ecosystem, to look into certain startups or certain branches on your own. And of course, if there are any questions, you can always ask me or one of my colleagues. If you are ever in Munich, feel free to reach out to have a look in our event calendar. If there's something going on that might be of interest for you, may it be just a general gathering of startups or industry-specific event, there's always a lot of stuff going on, live or hybrid or just online. So just reach out. I will just leave this slide open a little bit longer in case anyone wants to write down my email address. But that's it from my side. I'm very excited to hear our startups pitch now. And yeah, thank you for your attention.
Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for your presentation. If you can post your slide in the chat box so that people can download if it's possible.
Yeah, I will try my best.
Yeah. Thank you. So now we would like to move for the pitching session. So let me welcome the first presenter, Spirit Interactive.
Hi there.
Hello.
I'm Jonathan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Spirit Interactive. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, great. Also, the next slides, because sometimes that's working not so smoothly. When I flip through the slides, you can see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. Perfect. So I have 10 minutes now, right?
10 minutes for the pitch and 5 minutes for QA.
Okay, great. So we at Spree Interactive are based in Munich. Unlike the name could suggest, Spree is the name of a Berlin river. However, we stand for immersive interactions and experiences. So we're creating the next entertainment, education, and sports platform for the Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha are the kids and teenagers born 2010 and later. And we are the world leader when it comes to out-of-home entertainment. And we're gonna enter the in-home entertainment soon. So some traction so far. Last year we had 3.5 million euros revenue. This year we're aiming at close to 7. Last year we sold 80 B2B attractions globally. This year we're aiming at having cumulative 130 attractions. And last year we had over 1 million paid plays on our platform. This year we're aiming at doubling that, or over 2 million plays. We've been EBITDA positive since 3 years, growing 50 to 170% year over year profitably is quite a stretch. And as you can see, our geographic distribution is mostly US, then Middle East, then Europe, and then Asia. So however, we have a lot of client and investor requests from Asia. We just haven't had the right partner. So we sold to Sydney, Philippines, Vietnam, Singapore, India. We have a couple of client requests from Japan, and we are constantly monitoring our Net Promoter Score, NPS, on our attractions, and we won a couple of global awards for what we do. And here's a little product teaser of our flagship product called Spree Arena. So it's a 10 by 10 meter empty room. You can think of it like as a holodeck. So 10 people can go in, starting from 6 years onwards. And we're the world leader when it comes to user throughput. So we can cater up to 200 users per hour. So you can think of it as a cinema operator. The more users per hour, the more ticket sales, the quicker the ROI. We focus on ultra casual games, as you can see. So not the hardcore gamers, but literally everyone. And in particular, the 6 to 12-year-olds. Why? Because kids are very adoptive, and from 6 years onwards, it's safe to have a headset on. So under our VR, they're all under supervision for a short amount of time. And the core use case is kids' birthday parties for now. So 50% of the revenue is done with that, but also entertainment and education experiences can be done. The biggest TV broadcaster in Europe, ProSiebenSat.1, invested. And with that, we moved to Mission to Mars, entertainment experience. And we also onboarding leading esports activities. So where you also physically move around. And we have a tech IP. So we are spin out of Europe's largest applied research institute called Fraunhofer, birthplace of the MP3 Institute. And we've been growing 50 to 170% year over year through COVID, because COVID has accelerated our business model. So on the left-hand side, you see how shopping malls, one of our core use case, are being basically disrupted. On the right-hand side, how theme parks are being disrupted. Through COVID, which accelerated the transition, shopping malls will turn into Dubai malls, the ones who survive, and therefore they need to create more engagement with the clients, with the users. Theme parks, on the other side, they're struggling with in-home entertainment alternatives like Fortnite and Roblox and the like, and they need to offer the new generation something more. And this is exactly what Spree Interactive does. So we offer a cutting-edge virtual reality attraction, which you cannot have at home, which is based on our proprietary technology, which provides the operator, the Spree Interactive operator, like cinema, theme park, and family center operator, a return on investment of 6 to 9 months, which is important for the decision, and which is based on our one of the most price competitive solutions. So we have different products: Arena X6, X10. Now we came up with X4 for 4 players, and virtual reality bumper cars. So 1,500 plays per week per attraction is a key metric, which you can multiply with $5 or euros, and you get to the revenue amount which operator can do with our attraction. Our business model is straightforward. We sell the hardware, which is consumer grade. We put them with our proprietary sensor fusion technology. We make them therefore enterprise grade and 24/7, and then we produce our own content. We are a content studio, and we also have third-party content. And then we sell this most of the time through resellers globally to operators, who then sell the end tickets to the end customer. And our B2B sales strategy is straightforward. So we approach the world's biggest chains who have many locations, and most of them are North America and Middle East. Round one, for example, is in Japan. It's a sports chain, which we are actually after since a while. So our goal is basically to create framework contracts with all of them and to become the de facto status quo for when it comes to virtual reality. So when it comes to content, we started with family friendly. The left category, we then entered edutainment with a ProSieben investment, and now we also into esports. This is just the beginning. So we are raising 12 million as a Series A in order to expand the content catalog, because our market is very nascent. At some point, it will turn into a Netflix type market, mature, where only content is the differentiation factor. You can think of it as currently also the technology behind it, like is a key differentiation. And when we look at the competition, we clearly are better than the rest because of our throughput. So we can cater on average for 20 users, which is critical because all the others can cater only for much fewer people. And we're also the most price competitive. So for 100K, you get a 10-player system, whereas with some competitors, you pay 100K for a 4-player system. And the user setup time is very minimal, so you don't lose with the cycles. We are the only one targeting kids and adults, and we also have a virtual reality bumper car. If you look at the market, we're talking about a multi-billion market, which is also growing considerably. The current out-of-home market is already a 5 billion market, and it's growing rapidly. The in-home market is even bigger and growing faster. And according to some studies, virtual reality consumer shipments will outpace console shipments 2025 2024 or 2025. And that's the reason why after 6 years being on the market, we would like to move into the in-home as well in order to capture that. And here the unit economics for the B2B. In year 1, we sell hardware at a gross margin of 50%. So the subsequent years, we have an 85% gross margin on the content, on the recurring content subscriptions. And the reason why we're fundraising is we want to create more content in order to gain from one marketing dollar spent for acquiring a client, not only 3 profit dollars as currently, but perhaps 4 or even 5. And if we move on to the financials, we can see that our total revenue grew steadily from 1.7 million to 4 million to 5 million last year, including intangible assets. And this year we're aiming at closer to 8 million, including intangible assets. So we've been EBITDA positive since 2020, 21, and 22. Therefore, we are bankable. We received 3.5 million euros from banks, Deutsche Bank and Munich Bank. Important is the total percentage of total revenue, which is content, which is increasing towards 85%. And we have a B2B pipeline, which is filled with 20 million euros worth of business. This is a little overview of our fundraising so far. So we raised 8 million so far, 5 million equity and 3 million debt. And currently we are raising a 12 million Series A. We have already a couple of interested potential lead investors from South Korea, and above all, who see a lot of potential for our solution in the Asian market. So 2 key things we would like to invest to is the execution of our B2B market. Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting. It's the time for 10 minutes. So can we move on the Q&A session?
Sure.
Actually, we have some questions from the audience. The first one, maybe you can open the chat box as well. How you will overcome the VLDZ problem, especially for the kids?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So how did you overcome the VLDZ problem, especially for kids? Like for the kids, if they use VR, sometimes they get dizzy.
Okay, I see. Yeah, actually, that's a very important question. So you're referring to the motion sickness. So motion sickness happens with all whenever you have virtual movement, like audiovisual. Your eyes and your ears think you move, but your body, like your brain tells you move, but your stomach, your body feeling tells you I'm not moving. For example, if you do a virtual reality roller coaster ride, but you're sitting on a chair. This disconnect between what your brain and what your stomach tells you, this is the main reason for dizziness, and it's not recommended. Our main interaction form is walking. So you explore the virtual worlds by walking as a child. So that's why we are the most child-friendly solution, because the interaction is as easy as being a 4-year-old child. You walk around the world and explore the world. So that's how we overcome motion or cyber sickness.
Thank you so much. And we have more questions. How do you manage hardware issues as you expand globally? And who owns the manufacturing of the hardware? Is this fully controlled by Spree?
No, there are multi-billion companies who are investing into hardware like Meta and Lenovo and HTC and Google. So we are not in the hardware business. We are not well funded enough. So we purely focus on the integration of the shelf hardware, which you can see here. It's mostly consumer grade hardware. However, we make it enterprise ready with our own proprietary sensor fusion technology. So we have 3D position sensor technology algorithm, which are 2 patent families, patent in the patent process in 10 jurisdictions globally, including Japan. And so this is our sweet spot. Hardware is important, but as mentioned with the Netflix comparison, it's the display. So the display is at some point a commodity for Netflix. So that's how we look at it. It has to be good, but in the end, you can exchange your display.
Actually, we have more questions, but from Global Startup Center, we also have a question.
Yes, in the slides, we saw that you already sold your product to the round one, which is a Japanese company, right? So if I go to round one, can I play your games in round one?
You see, this is the 19 biggest entertainment chains globally. And on the very right-hand side, you see the status. So in the US, we've closed most of them.
My question is about round one.
No. If you go see here, it's prospecting. So that means in round one, we are prospecting. The status of round one is prospect. Perhaps you can give me a better contact at round one so that we can sell faster. That would be appreciated. So far, we haven't closed. We had some connections with round one through our angel investor who was doing business in Japan.
Okay. So now it's the time for the 5 minutes in. So in our business matching that we would like to connect with is the first one is the Kyushu and also 010. As for the 010, it's they're like having that they're focusing on the entertainment field. So I can send you more information about those two companies, and we can explain what is the synergies that we are expecting from your project and with their projects that they are doing right now.
Okay, perfect. That would be great. What exactly do they do?
The first company, JL Kyushu, it's the railway company in here. However, the railway company does multiple business, and also 010 is they are focusing on the entertainment field.
These two developers, they own the building. Okay.
Okay.
And,
great.
So they are constructing some very specific building with a sort of concept and functions. That is the reason why we're gonna try to approach them.
I see. Great. Yeah, thanks for the matchmaking. Do you also have potential investors who are interested in metaverse and VR and all that?
Yeah. So as far as actually we recently contacted the 010 company, and they surely showed interest in the metaverse, because we can send information later, but about 2 months ago, they opened a new building, and it's a sort of an entertainment building. And at the time, so we contacted them, and they should they want to bring something new, and they showed interest for the metaverse. But at the time, and because the building is just opened, so there was no way to change it. But of course, they will have more property. They need more idea. That is the story.
I see. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll send you more information after this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, so the second presenter, I would like to welcome Illusioneer.
Yes, hello. Yes, I'm hi. Can you see me by any chance?
I cannot see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, well that's a start. Start video anyway, use video. Let me just get the technical setup going because it's quite important that you are able to see us as well. This is interesting. Perhaps if I share my screen, I would just like to know if you can see. Can you see my shared screen?
I can see your screen.
You can. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Just give me a second, please.
Or should I call you back? I mean, like, if brand protect is here, maybe they can do before you, or if you need some time to prepare. Oh, but I.
Yes, perhaps actually, well, to be honest, I don't know what to do, because if you can't see me, I'm not sure what we can do, because let me check if you can see the Illusioneer Studio image that we have set up. Here's a second camera here, 1 second, which is important. This is really odd.
So is that like Illusioneer Studio? It's you turning your video?
Yes. We have 2 connections going in.
Oh, okay.
But we can't see any camera at the moment, right?
Oh, right. The Illusioneer Studio, that account, I can see their the videos. I mean, they turn on the video so I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me try it, and if it makes no sense, please tell me. Okay.
So I pinned the Illusioneer Studio. So
okay.
Yeah.
So let's start, please, with everybody pinning my image, which is currently black. I will share a few slides, and then I will show you, and then it would be good if you pin Illusioneer Studio, okay?
Okay. So, okay.
I'm sorry, can you pin for everybody? Is it possible, or does everybody have to pin themselves?
Oh, who should now I pin you. Now it's your screen.
Now it's me, Daniel? Okay. Well, this is a very good example of what we've been doing the past 3 years in our research.
Daniel, are you
yes.
Are you showing the slide or?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Let me just start by saying what we're doing right now. Troubleshooting is a central part of our of our product. We have sort of miniaturized TV studio production. And what do I mean by this? Let me share my screen quickly. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What we have here is we have a TV studio and a classic setup. What we do is we have miniaturized, made very small and accessible what you see here into a very, very small package. What do I mean? I mean, content production is taking off like a rocket ship in terms of numbers. So everybody is producing content on social media, for social media. It used to be only television was high-level content production. Now we have a lot of content creators on YouTube, Instagram, even LinkedIn, all social media platforms we have here in the area of Germany, obviously. And in the Asian markets, there are their own platforms. But what we all have in common is the need to create high-level content. Now, currently, this is mostly done using mobile phones or very simple setups. And there is still a large gap existing into TV quality production. TV quality production, it took 50 years to make. Japanese television is very different from European television in terms of colors and contrast. And there's much more adventurous and daring design in Japan compared to Germany. But still, the technology to produce television shows and people presenting on stage is very large. So what we are doing is we are combining 2 things. We're combining the aesthetics and importance of television studios, what they do. So we have movement, cameras, beautiful light, you know, just a very high quality image on television broadcast level. But we combine this with virtualization technologies. So what we are, to some degree, is a virtual studio in the cloud.
Your slide is not changing.
No. I'm
Okay. Sorry.
I'm sort of I'm improvising with what I have to do now. Okay, so just to let you know. Now, what you can do in a television studio is to to build huge LED walls to create virtual studio spaces, but we have kind of miniaturized this process. And here you can see me presenting in a green room, just like you would expect, like a green screen studio, but we've made it so tiny into an office space. And on the right, you can see me in the office, not a studio, just an office. And on the left, you see the real-time virtualized image. And what I would like to for you to do now is to quickly jump into, pinning the Illusioneer tab, if you can. Let me pin myself, the Illusioneer Studio. Do you see the studio of Illusioneer Studio? Can you pin it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I pinned.
Okay, and do you see my colleague Florian standing in the studio?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what's important to understand is that he's standing in front of a green screen, and this is an office space. We are not in a television production studio. We are in an office space. And what this means is any office, any corporation, any company in the world can separate a room, put up a green screen, put up these basic lights, and transform into a television studio. You will now see, I will switch to what we are able to provide in real time. So now you can see Florian standing in the virtual studio. Do you see this?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Florian, this is live and interactive. Florian, he can move left, he can move right. He's sticking to the floor. And those big camera cranes, which I showed you in the first slide, they are virtualized here. So what this means is that we get the aesthetics and value of TV cranes, a TV production, with photo cameras on a tripod. Everything you see here are virtual moves. The camera always remains static, as you can see, and we make the moves in a virtual way. I'm operating this at the same time. Now, what this allows you to do is to offer presentation studio technology to companies anywhere in the world, really, which never would even think about creating content on this level of production quality. I'm in the studio myself right now in the office. If my camera would be working, I'm kind of improvising the presentation now. If my laptop camera would be working, I could show you how simple the setup is. But I will show you on a different window now the a case film. I can show you a case film with some examples. If you look on the screen now, before I show you the film, we have the option of having interactive elements. We can have charts, as you know, from TV studios. This could be the weather, this could be company data, this could be anything, really. We have the option of implementing call to actions, signage in the background. And if you look in the back, you also have the option of integrating videos and images. Let me just... So now, and what makes this special, this kind of studio special, and I want to show you this because I think I'm running out of time, is what Florian is holding in his hand. He's holding in his hand a hardware box, which you can connect in Japan, in Germany, in whatever country you are, and you will connect to our studio technology through the internet. So all we need...
Daniel, yes. I'm so sorry for cutting you. but it's time for the 10 minutes is passed. So I would like to move on the 5 minutes Q&A session.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I have questions about the who is the main target. So this is the one question. So another question is the minimum cost to start to install the product.
Yes. So we have 3 target groups here, right? We have smaller local television stations, which can upgrade to a much larger studio, a virtual studio. Another market we have are corporations. A lot of corporations are building, especially through COVID, their own studios in their own buildings. We can help them set up something amazing using this connection box. So they don't need to buy all the TV studio technology. They just need to buy a very simple green screen setup, as you can see here. And with this green screen setup, we can deliver these kind of images using just our connection box through the internet. Yeah, those are the main groups. And another target group we have is the sports streaming, actually. Lots of sports events are being streamed. So how this works is usually companies just get the feed and they add a commentator and broadcast that through their region that they purchased license for, because TV studios are just too expensive. And this is the market we're exploring at the moment. Yeah, sports broadcast, football, soccer, athletics. These are the markets we're going into as well.
Okay. How about the cost?
The cost. Initial investment is about 50,000 euros to set up your own personal studio. And then with an online scheduling system for 899 euros per hour, you get the full production service that we offer. So, you know, we can integrate anything in the background. I didn't get a chance to show you our film due to these technical difficulties, but this studio works like you would expect. Those screens in the backgrounds, you can put content on, you can put your logo on, you can have video calls, just like we're having a Zoom call. People can be interviewed and put on those screens, just like you would expect from a normal TV studio. And that is all included in 899 euros per hour. So you have an initial cost of 50,000, and then for 900 euros an hour, you can broadcast. And you have to compare these costs with at least €250,000 euros, which it would usually cost you to get the show up and running, and a crew of about 6 people to deliver this kind of studio.
Thank you. Hi, thank you again for your presentation, albeit in the middle. Quick question on the initial cost. What does that actually involve? Is that hardware and software? Or at the last slide, you mentioned something about, well, going through your server for the, I guess, the content technology, but is it possible that, say, clients can procure the green screen and the setup, and if it matches your specification, that they just contract for your service? So like a SaaS program?
Exactly. So we are like a VSaaS, right? So we're like virtual studio as a service. So what we can do is we can provide you with the setup that you see here. So it's like an aluminum rig. We have the LED lights, we have the cameras. You can have one camera or a second camera for a close shot here. Then with the box that Florian is holding, we can we get your signal, and then we convert it with our technology to this. And this can either be recorded or streamed live, just as we're doing now, or both. Okay. And this is up to 3 cameras, as you can see here. So we have one camera in parallel, the second camera, and we have a third camera, which is possible.
Okay, but then would it theoretically, like, do you also, if the customer can procure the hardware themselves locally and it satisfies your specification? Exactly.
I mean, our cameras come from Japan anyway, so that's okay. But absolutely. I mean, we are absolutely fine because we are not hardware dealers, right? This is not what we do. we provide the integration of a lot of building blocks. So yes, you can have a technical writer, as we call it. We can even set up a shopping list for you, and you can buy these things from local dealers, get the local support from the dealers. If you run into any hardware issues, all we need is a halfway stable internet connection, and we do the rest.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. At the last of the 5 minutes of Q&A session, I would like to introduce our business matching the companies. So I'm glad that when we asked you about the target, you mentioned the television broadcasting company. So actually, we're planning to connect you with the RKB. It's the local broadcasting company.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
So after this event, we'll introduce the broadcasting company here, and yeah, then I'll let you know.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'd like to welcome Brand Protect.
Hello, can you hear me and see me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The camera should be working too. At least I can see my image on the screen.
Yep. I can see you.
Great. See me is not so terribly interesting. So I would like to share the screen with the presentation of what Brand Protect is actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
The correct one. Okay, you should be seeing a screen, Brand Protect International Trademark Protection.
Yeah, I can see it.
Great. Actually, Brand Protect is a kind of spin-off from Munich patent law firm, which has been active for over 90 years. Brand Protect is, so to say, our software branch. And the first item we have been concentrating on digitalizing in the working process of the patent attorneys is the process of filing trademarks. I think I don't have to explain in detail what the trademark is good for. The interesting thing for us is first you need contact with a potential filer, and when the trademark applicant is successful, after a couple of years, he will be interested in getting his trademark protected abroad. And the idea behind Brand Protect was initially to speed up the international filing process, because currently the process is that a client comes to see the patent attorney, that tells him about the countries he's interested in. The attorney asks his foreign colleagues what the price would be, and after a fortnight, if you're lucky, you have the data, you communicate them to the client, and the client tells you, oh, it's too expensive. So let's boil the number of countries down to this and that. So we have been collecting data from our network of foreign colleagues that enable us to provide a cost forecast online. So the decision on in which countries to file can be made practically without the patent attorney's intervention. And when the client knows in what countries he's actually going to file, then he can send the filing order to the law firm. And at that time is the first time in the process of filing where the law firm actually gets involved. And you can imagine that in this way, you can cut costs substantially. In order to deploy the approach, the first thing we have done is to develop a rather basic system which allows clients to file in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, or in the European Union at fixed rates. That is something which would be done by the bid patent firm. And depending on the level of service the client needs, he can choose between different options, different prices, but it's fixed prices all the way through. So he will always know what actually he will be spending. The platform has been set up in order to be easily adaptable to foreign languages. So at the moment, the version which is in the internet is in German only. It's been running for 3 days now, and we're still busy preparing the English version. It would be operable in the Japanese market, for example, too. And that is why we are looking for Japanese law firms who might be interested in cooperating with us using this platform. There is a considerable considerable saving in the administrative labor involved, because in contrast to the classical process, you get an electronic file practically automatically from the Brand Protect software. So there's nothing to do for a paralegal in that respect. And since the fees are paid by the client when he places the order, there is also a minimum of bookkeeping involved. That's what allows us to provide highly competitive rates in Germany. And it might be interesting too for companies in any other jurisdiction. So one possible client actually is foreign law firms. The other possible client might be companies who directly file in Europe using our services by directly accessing our webpage for Germany, Austria, or the European Union. So we have quite a lot of features still in preparation, which are not yet implemented in the version which is online at the moment. And that is automatic selection of the most cost-efficient way to obtain trademark protection. That is, depending on the list of countries the client needs, the system will automatically provide the most cost-efficient way to cover all the countries the client needs. And we have an experimental version where a similarity search is integrated, which at the moment operates on German and European trademarks only, but it will quite soon be expanded to trademarks worldwide. So that would enable the client not only to know the costs of his trademark applications directly, for example, in a director's meeting, but they could also carry out the similarity search on their own before actually involving a patent attorney, and then submitting the search result to the patent attorney only when they are not sure whether filing is still worthwhile. So a trademark application strategy can be decided in a review board meeting within a couple of hours by the company alone, instead of using several weeks and usually several unsuccessful attempts where they will be charged by a patent attorney, but actually receive no added value in return. Summarize, we have a guided written path to follow for a potential trademark applicant. For attorneys, we have a system which can be integrated into their local homepage, possibly even without showing where the system actually comes from. So it could be passed as proprietary to that local law firm. And the source of revenue for us would have to be decided, whether it's a commission for each service booked, or whether it's a flat rate, or whether it might also be made dependent on the amount of investment done by a foreign law firm in the process of making the platform viable for that country.
Okay, thank you so much for presentation. Actually, it's 10 minutes. So we move on the question, QA session.
Okay.
So the first,
anyway.
Actually, the first question is it's not like more questions, but I would like to confirm that your services is for only trademark, right? Not IP.
Actually, we have started with trademarks because it's one section of IP where the proportion of administrative work is highest. So there is a considerable savings to be achieved in trademark filings, which is not so clear in patents. Patents involve much more handiwork by the patent attorney. And that's the main source of cost in patenting.
I see.
And when you file a trademark, the larger portion of the cost is simply for administrative work. And by digitalizing that, we can cut that cost.
Thank you. And I have another question about the currently who is there any current users? So how many users are using your platform right now?
At the moment, it is bits only because we prefer to have exclusive licenses. Simply, when the platform is used by one firm, it gives them a competitive advantage over the others. But when all firms have it, it's much less interesting because the client can find the service anywhere.
Thank you.
So I expect in most markets, there will be usually one licensee, perhaps two, where the market is very large.
How about the client in Europe, except outside of Germany?
Pardon? There was an interruption in the phone line.
Is there any client outside of Germany in Europe? Because the B2B partner, it's based in Munich, right?
Yes.
And do they also target to the European customer, or this is just domestic, the sort of patent company, patent law firm in Germany?
Actually, we plan to use this platform for bids only in the German market because it's simply more convincing, for example, for a French trademark applicant, if he can contact a French law firm who is behind the service.
So maybe we can connect to some law firm in Japan. And
yes.
Are you sure that if they showed interest in your services, and this is also feasible to bring to the Japanese market as well? So the same practice will be workable in Japan, right?
Yes. The filing system is substantially identical, and there might be some issues when you have to interface kanji data, which we might not yet be aware of. But we've been setting up the same system using, for example, Greek characters, which is also something quite out of the line, and we had no problems there. So.
Thank you so much. So it's the 5 minutes for the Q&A session is done. So as Mumu mentioned, that we would like to talk to you. We would like to introduce your project. We will understand your project. Then I'll introduce your project to the one of the law firm in Japan that we have connection with. Then
yes.
Atsumi Sakai. Yeah, the name of the law firm is Atsumi Sakai. A&S. So yeah, I'll talk to him. Then I'll get back the feedback with them.
Mm-hmm. That would be great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So now I'll like to welcome the last presenter for today, Konsai Technologies.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Stefan, go-to-market manager at Konsai. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Wonderful. Then let me share my screen. Can you see the pitch?
Yes.
Perfect.
I can see.
So let's get right to it. The construction industry is one of the largest and yet one of the least efficient and least digitized industries. So for example, in Germany, it's the least digitized industry right after fishing. And most construction projects take longer to finish and go over budget. So for example, in Germany, we have this great example of Berlin Airport, which was a disaster, or we have Stuttgart 21, and now we have the second Stammstrecke here in Munich. I'm sure all attendees from Munich will know about it. I don't know if the word has already spread to Japan. But according to a McKinsey report, this productivity gap costs the world economy a staggering $1.6 trillion every year. And decisions are made based on experience, gut feeling, and assumptions. So many of these productivity issues can be overcome by embracing a more data-driven approach. So on the bright side of things, the industry generates huge amount of data, but most of this data is not used, leading to a knowledge loss. So right after ending a project, 30% of the data is lost right away. And the rest is distributed in file cabinets, drawings, on personal computers, in the cloud, or in the heads of people. So for example, project managers or site managers have lots of knowledge in their head. However, 30% of the construction workforce in Germany will retire by 2030. So this knowledge is lost. And we need to find a way to preserve this knowledge and this wisdom, because you can't just replace this wisdom with somebody just graduating from university, right? So what we're doing is we're building an AI platform that integrates different types of data from multiple sources and turns them into actionable knowledge. On the left-hand side, we see the construction ecosystem who are generating all different types of data, be it like cameras from drones, from CCTV cameras, from smartphones, data from plans, or data from IoT devices. All these can be processed on our platform using neurosymbolic AI, which you can see in the middle. And today, it can already help to improve processes and efficiency. And our vision is that in the future, it will also enable automation and autonomy on site. Our technology can tackle multiple construction-focused use cases. So one we see on the left-hand side, we use AI to analyze images and videos from construction sites to automate site supervision and reporting. This can be beneficial in many areas. One of them is safety. In Germany, a country I would deem rather safe and highly regulated, we have 1 death every 4 days on a construction site. With real-time video analysis, these dangerous situations can be detected and they can be intervened or even prevented. Additionally, this can increase the productivity on site by generating insights into the on-the-go, making things measurable and creating the basis for optimization. Because what we can measure, we can manage, and what we can manage, we can improve. And 2, on the right-hand side, we use AI to analyze documents and drawings to automate workflows. This can save a huge amount of time. With one customer, for example, we're working on quantity takeoff from these drawings, which can lead to costs saved in the millions just for one use case. So let me share a demo of SiteLens, the use case number 1, that one of our US-based partners showcased that we showcased together with one of our US-based partners at the World of Concrete in the US. The partner is a construction camera provider, so the use cases are focused on the first field we're doing, the analysis of images and videos. The video has no voiceover, just as an information. Right. So that was it with the video. We saw several use cases referring to the video and image analysis and insight generation of what's going on construction sites. And now we have time for your questions. In the audience, we also have Sharik, our co-founder and CEO, who's also happy to answer some of your questions. So please feel free to ask.
Thank you. So as I see, you need some several camera set. You need to set the camera first, right? And also drone, you have the drones to,
So we do not have any hardware, no cameras, no drones. We're completely hardware agnostic. So we can use whatever our customers are working with. So most of the times we saw that cameras are already on site, either CCTV cameras or maybe some images from handheld devices like smartphones. And we can process all of that. So that's what we're really focusing on the software side. Does that answer your question?
Stefan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Okay. Let me ask here. Actually, we are Akio is in the next to me. Okay, let me ask from my side. So my question is about how much the square meter, the standard area size spaces for the
Recording in progress.
For your product.
Maybe I can answer this question. This very much depends on the use case. There are some long view use case that can cover several hundred meters. We're talking about 300-400 meters. For instance, tracking about logistics or certain activities. And there are some use case for which a more granular view is required. So there we work with the more near view cameras. So usually our customers and partners have different types of cameras, either static cameras or PTZ cameras that can zoom in and zoom out. But it's quite flexible depending on the use cases. Did that answer your question?
So another question is like do you have any clients outside of Germany?
Yes, we have clients in the US, so we are active in the US. And as we speak, we are we signed the contract with a large enterprise customer in Italy. And we are also in advanced discussion with customers in East Asia.
Following that question, by enterprise customers, are you talking about general contractors like, well, if it's in Germany, Hochtief, or is it EPCs or project developers?
Well, Hochtief we are not working with Hochtief, but yes, we do work with large general contractors. We work with suppliers, so equipment manufacturers, producers, and we are also working with specialty subcontractors. We are not working with property developers at the moment.
Well, on Hochtief, hopefully soon, huh?
Hopefully soon, yes. We would like to work yes. Someone from Hochtief in the call, or?
No, I used to work in construction, so quite nostalgic now.
And then now we are thinking to talk with some of the startup, which that startup from the Taiwan. Nowadays, that startup registered company in Fukuoka. Then this company is developing the manufacturing the smart helmet. So that helmet is equipped with the cameras. So from today's discussions, we understand that your software needs the data from the IoT devices. I think that this startup, the product can be the one with the devices for providing some data from the construction site. So first, let's talk to that company, and if they're also interested in working with your companies, so we will arrange the meeting with that Taiwanese companies. Is that okay?
No, that would be very, very much welcome. Yes, we focus on analytics, and we work with partners who provide the hardware, who provide sensors, cameras, and so on.
Yeah, actually, that company is developing the many type of the IoT devices for, especially for the constructions, the field. Yeah, thank you.
That would be wonderful. Intro would be wonderful.
You just mentioned about the huge delay of the building new airport, right? I know the reason. Everybody loves Tegel Airport. That is the reasons.
We all love Tegel Airport. I mean, the reasons, when we talk about construction project delays, it's not just one single factor. It could be because of many reasons. It could be because of faulty contractual setup, because there are so many different players in the value chain. The contract is not set up properly. It could be because of this.
Because I was surprised that one day, finally, the new airport opened. At least it opened. That is great news.
Right.
All right. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for your presentation. As Yoshi mentioned, we will introduce your project to the Taiwanese startups. Then we'll get back to you with their feedback.
The name is the Bee Inventor.
Okay. Thank you so much for participating today's pitching event. The procedure of business matching is at first we'll understand your project, then we will talk to the potential the companies that we named today. Then after that, if they're interested in, we are connecting you to them. That's the procedures. Thank you so much for participating again. And after this event, we will send you the feedback form. So please give us some time and give your reviews so that we can improve our online event for the next time. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye. Good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Dankeschön.